What's your take?
I'm so sick and tired of this noise. I got to admit it to you. You know, you're sitting here right now next to a man that has worked under the Walt Disney umbrella for over 22 years. I have gotten in trouble. I have been suspended. I have had issues with the company from time to time in terms of what they may feel about something, but I would never speak about Disney and ABC the way that you hear her speaking about it, because the standard is the standard, and we're all aware of it. When you think about Jimmy Kimmel, for example, a person that I got a lot of love for, a lot of respect for, I filled in for him one night in August of 2021. I actually hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live, which was one of the greatest experiences of my career. And he's a great dude. He's a great, he's great at what he does, et cetera, et cetera. Not to take anything away from him, but you know what is considered ill-timed or insensitive. These are the things that are made very, very clear to you. You know, especially if you're a fabric of under the Disney umbrella, you know these things. And so when folks go out and you say what you want to say and you think that you get to operate with impunity, chances are you never thought that at all. You were just willing to roll the dice and take a chance because you were that emotional, you were that upset, you were that compelled to say whatever it is that you wanted to say, that you felt the need to express yourself, to sort of exhale, and not thinking about the overall collateral impact and damage it may have. Let's take into account Jimmy Kimmel. Let's take into account Roseanne Barr and what she just finished saying. Yeah, you're a star and you got your money. What about all those people that work under you? What about in Jimmy Kimmel's case when Nexstar or Sinclair makes the decision to pull you off the airwaves and the other people, because I've got a bunch of friends in Hollywood, as you well know, and a lot of them were hanging outside Jimmy Kimmel Live when that show came up, when it was pulled from the air a few days ago. And you had a whole bunch of people walking out of his show wondering about their futures, wondering about their jobs, because they weren't making the exorbitant amount of dollars that he was making. What about then? And when you look at a guy like Bob Iger, who I happen to know pretty damn well, because I've been there for 22 years, this is not about society and its definition of what you're supposed to feel and what defines insensitive or what defines ill-timed or anything. He's the one that makes that decision for Disney. He's not thinking about society as much as he's thinking about Disney, because that's what he has control over. And so his mentality is going to be, we know what the standard is. We know what's going on here. And you have to operate accordingly. And you have some people along the way who have reached a point where they may not feel compelled at that particular moment to subscribe to that level of thinking under that umbrella. But you also have to know there are consequences. I'm not saying it braggadociously or anything like that. I'm the star of ESPN. I'm the face of ESPN. And everybody sits up there and say, Stephen, this is Stephen. I know it does. I know it does, but I swear I'm not. But people will sit up there and say stuff like that. And I always remind everybody, I have a boss. His name is Dave Roberts. I got another boss. His name is Burke Magnus. I got another boss. His name is Jimmy Pitaro. I got another boss. His name is Bob Iger. Don't think for one second that it escapes me that I have an obligation to operate with a certain level of professionalism under that umbrella, because I have people that I answer to and people that I work for. Sometimes people forget that. And a company reminding you that that is indeed the case is not foreign. It happens.
I get it.
It's happened to you, it's happened to me, it's happened to everybody else. And we just need to be reminded of that.
That's the choice you make. Now, look, to me, a lot of this speculation, not with us, but that's going on around this, is just opportunistic. If Jimmy wanted to stick to his guns, if Jimmy wanted to double down, he's not coming on tonight.
That's right.
You know, he would have said it somewhere else because Disney wouldn't have given him the platform, and it is theirs to give.
That's right.
Okay? I am here for one reason. Perry Sook wants me here. Okay, Sean Compton wants me here. Mike Korn wants me here. If they don't, I'm gone. If they don't like the way I talk to Stephen tonight, right? We get into it because, man, he is bragging about himself, and I should punch him. But if they're like, whoa, Stephen A. matters to us, and the way you talk to him is too much, man. It's not our brand. You're gone. Am I censored? No, that's business, and we know it. So the question is what he does with it. We'll see. But I will say one thing. She says, oh, he's going to double down. I will bet anybody anything. It is not a double down tonight. I promise you that. I don't know what it is. We'll watch together.
But she also alluded to a biasness, and that's where I take offense to.
Wait, hold on.
Sure.
Take it to the break.
Sure.
I'm going to do a tease because, you know, this is the face of ESPN, okay? You got Mickey Mouse, but he's got to turn sideways now for Stephen A. You know what I mean?
I'll turn sideways.
Mickey Mouse is not full front anymore. He's like this, and Stephen A's leaning in with the shoulder because he's all ripped up now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.